I don't have intro music. I'm not a singer. I'm a knitter. Iced coffee. Hello everyone. Welcome to Friday Night Knits. My name is Becky. I'm coming to you from Midland, Texas. And it is Friday, May 27th, 2016. And yesterday was my birthday. Yay. Let's see. I am an old lady, officially an old lady. No, just kidding, because I am such a kid. Yeah, so it's Friday, and it's been a great week. I spent all day yesterday at home, took the day off, chilled out. Started the day with Sue, Knit 24's Periscope. And I was working on my Garter Goodness shawl that I started last year. But the rows are now probably 425, 450 stitches long. Somewhere around there. I probably should count it. But it'd make me nauseous, so I don't. But I only pick it up like once a week to do at least 2 rows so that I don't feel guilty about not working on it. And yesterday morning I just happened to pick it up and knit on it, watching Periscope with Sue, and Chelsea was on there. Lo and behold, she was knitting a Garter Goodness too. She just started hers, so it's flying along for her right now. Huh. I can't wait to see if she's still so giddy about it in a little while. And I love it. I can't wait to wear it next winter, but it's just it's gigantic right now, and it'll be way too hot to wear at all until October at the earliest, but probably November, December around here. So I'm in just really not that big a hurry to finish it. So, but I started my day with them, and I turned on Netflix and started binging Daredevil, and I feel a little bit guilty because my husband and I haven't been watching it for some reason. So we watched Jessica Jones. We usually really dig Marvel. So I don't know why we haven't watched it before now, but I just kind of got wild hair and decided to start watching it earlier this week, and my birthday was the perfect opportunity to binge. So I watched, I think, 4 episodes total, 4 or 5 yesterday. But my husband's a school teacher, and he's about to have the summer off, and he can catch up. So I spent the day knitting on socks, binging Daredevil, doing some rows on my Garter Goodness. So it was a good day. And let's get into knitting. We'll talk about, my birthday will come up several times because various things, birthday presents, that kind of thing. So socks. First up in my Star Wars bag, of course, are my Star Wars socks. And these are for the Mustache Yarn, my Sock Wars. Mustache Sock Wars. And I'm on Team Alliance. Yes, that's Darth Vader behind me. I once was a member of the dark side, but The Force Awakens ruined that for me. Actually, Kylo Ren ruined that for me. And yeah, so I feel a little weird. Well, I feel like a bandwagoner, basically, is the thing. I've always been of the dark side. Like, I don't know if I've shown y'all this. Let me see if I can get this up here and get y'all to get that to focus. That is my wedding ring. And that is the Death Star. And turn it around. And that is the emblem that is on Boba Fett's chest. So, I'm a Star Wars fan. And I am a dark sider. And then I figured out that I was on the wrong side. So, I'm late to the party as far as the Rebels go. My husband's wedding ring is the Rebel Alliance on one side and the Jedi symbol on the other. But he's always the good guy. Like when we play D&D, you know, he's a typical paladin-ish guy. I'm the thief. So, yeah. Back to my socks. So, here are my R2 socks that should be done by June 4th, because we cast on May 4th, May the 4th. And as you can see, I'm not doing those slip stitches anymore because I think they look silly. So it's just a plain vanilla sock. And that's why it's not getting knit, because it's boring. But rounded toe, that's the seamless rounded toe for toe up. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Yeah, just plain vanilla. I'm knitting this on my Knit Picks. And these are 2.25. Nope. Oh. 2.5 as far as Knit Picks go, which is their 1.5, US 1.5. So these might actually be a little large. I mean, they're a little larger than my other sock needles, but I probably just grabbed what I had. And these are Knit Picks that I've had for years and years and years. So I haven't had any issues with these. I do have, I never talk about my needles, so I'm trying to get better at that. But I like these. I have a lot of really long cables, like 40-inch and 60-inch cables, because I used to do a lot of Mobius scarves and not knit the long flat rectangle and then twist it and seam it together. No, I did the Cat Bordy Mobius, so like, because it was cool looking. So, but these, I like these needles. The joint is really, really smooth. I haven't had any issues with these, and they were so cheap. If they fall apart, okay, I'll buy a new one. But really, Hayas and Addies are pretty much where I spend my money now. But like I said, I've had these needles forever. So those are my Star Wars socks. So I really have a deadline that I really need to get those done on. The other socks I'm working on are my socks for Stephen West. And as you can see, I've done like between 1/4 and 1/2 inch on those. Not that much. Again, these are really boring too, because it's just a 3x2 rib or 3x1 rib. I'm thinking that if I'm going to be a sock knitter, it's going to have to be patterned socks, because these vanillas just make me bonkers. And I'm knitting these. I'm using Addie's sock turbos. And let me double check that, because now I'm curious about the size. And this is a Knit Picks. Oh, these are two. That's right, because they're for Stephen. I did grab the bigger needles. So, these are on 275s. It is 72 stitches. Look at that big honkin' sock. Big sock. I really just need to get these finished too. I need to message him and see where I'm going to be sending them. I don't know. I'm more and more inclined to hang on to him and hope he comes here for Stitches Texas again in September and give them to me in person. But I don't know. I need to message him. Find out. So those are it. That's my projects. I'm not doing much else. But it's been really hot here, so I haven't been doing a lot of knitting. It was 100 degrees yesterday at least, and I know on Wednesday it was really, really hot. So I just haven't had the knitting mojo. So yeah, that's unfortunate, because this is a knitting podcast, not a talk about random crap project podcast. But we'll get on to that. So, that's all the knitting I've been doing. I've been contemplating joining another knit along, which means I will join and I will be gung-ho with the very first, and then I'll taper off and not do much. But Eric from Sticks Plus Twine and Katie inside number 23 Katie of the inside number 23 are going to knit the Void Shawl. And Katie got had to knit it because the girl from Knit Folk, Brooklyn Knit Folk, told her in a dream to knit it. I'm probably screwing that all up. I don't remember her name. So Katie's gonna knit that, and I may join in because I have this wonderful skein. Miss Babs Yowza, what a skein. Let me see if I can get that color to... That's sort of close. It is a very marigold orangey yellow color. And it's fabulous. And the Miss Babs Yowza What a Skeins are gigantic. And I actually have more than one skein. This is the only one that's skeined up. The other one's caked. And somewhere in this craft room. Or I may have given it away. I'm not sure now. So, but I may go ahead and jump on that and knit a Void-ish. But I may talk myself out of it too, because that's a very big shawl in heavyweight in a color that I'm not sure I can wear, because see how red my cheeks are? See? Cheeky reds. And this is actually a color that 3 years ago I would have said no way, but I'm all about every color in the rainbow nowadays. Orange used to be a big turnoff for me, but I like even orange, and that's just all thanks to wool. And the love of knitting and color makes me want all the colors. So I'm considering that one. Maybe. But I doubt it. So that's really all in the what's on my needles thing. So the rest of the stuff I'm going to talk about, more stuff about my birthday. I only bought a couple of things for my birthday, knitting wise, because I'm actually going to get a new tattoo for my birthday. But it's knitting. It's a knitting tattoo. And I do already have one knitting tattoo. I have a ruler on my finger that's not much of a ruler anymore. It was supposed to be 2 inches, and it's 1.5 1/4 inch, because my finger just doesn't want to take ink in that one spot. And so I'm going to get, I have Homer on this arm, so I'm going to get a girl on this arm so I can be balanced again. And my best friend Allison already has this tattoo, and it's right up here, so I'm going to get a matching tattoo, and I'm really stoked about that. And I realized today that I scheduled it for next Saturday, and I'm working next Saturday, so that was really goofy of me. So I need to call him later and wiggle it around. So that's what I've been saving my pennies on. But I did make a small purchase. I found a new podcast, and it's This Boy. He only has about 5 or 6 episodes as well, but he's a dyer, and he's from Scotland. And I want to watch all of the podcasters from Scotland because I could listen to them all day. My husband and I used to want to live in Scotland. We still want to live in Scotland. But years ago, when he was going to school and going to work on his PhD, we always talked about living in Scotland while he was getting his PhD. Never mind that his PhD he was a history major. Never mind that his focus was southern United States and Mexico border. So it makes a whole lot of sense to live in Scotland to study that. But he was like, I want to work on my thesis and be a history professor and live in Scotland. And I was like, I just want to live in a farmhouse and have sheep and knit. Yeah. And the more I think about it, there's no way either one of us can handle that. It would drive me crazy. I really have to work, because sitting at home, even if it's, I think even if I could stay at home every day and not have to worry about a job and knit and do whatever and craft and that, it would drive me bonkers. I already talk to little plastic girls all day. So, yeah, that would be dangerous. But this boy, I found his Etsy shop first. Well, I found his Instagram first, and then I found his Etsy shop. And so I bought a skein of yarn and one of his project bags for a birthday present. I'm pretty excited. His project bags are an origami style. I can't wait to get it like in my hands, because it reminds me of the style of bag that my granny would have sewn. And he says he's going to do a tutorial on sewing those, so that's exciting, because I really need to crank out my sewing machine. And so if I ever do any other craft outside of knitting, sewing would be the top of the list. It is the top of the list. If I ever do something other than knit, sewing is going to be first. And so yeah, I need to, I bought some really cool fabric a while back, and want to make project bags. I just need to find cool patterns, and I've taken a sewing machine that I bought several years ago out of the box last week. It was in the box for 4 years, 4 years off to the side. So I've made progress. I've taken it out of the box. Can't find a manual at all, but thank goodness for the internet. And thank goodness my granny taught me how to load a sewing machine with thread, and I do know that kind of thing. So yeah, This Boy Knits, it's a pretty cool little podcast. They're very short. That's one of the things I try to do, is keep it short, because I don't have too much to share with you. But he's done like a yarn dyeing tutorial, so that's way more than I will ever do. And that was, I was like, ooh, I want to dye yarn. And then I remember I have dyed yarn, and it was not pretty. So, yeah, that's the only other acquisition I have is goodie in the mail this past week, my new Miss Brown's bag. And I had to have this one. I've been trying to get this fabric forever, and it's the knit to live, live to knit, you know, skulls, and I love the knit on the back. And yeah, anything skulls, tattoo, flash looking kind of thing, just cool. I love it. So that's about all I have. New stuff. Still waiting on one more package from Canada. And yeah, I've been pretty good. I've really trying to save my pennies for this tattoo. So a couple other little things I'm going to show you as far as things I've seen knitting, and things people have been talking about, the 9-inch circulars. I bought a bunch of these for Blythe hats a while back, and I don't have any that are very small for sock knitting. I might get some of those to try them. Let me just show you something. I have giant man hands, so these little bitty needles in my hands, I have a really hard time. I made several hats with them for the Blythes, and my hands would seriously cramp up, and especially the knuckles right here just really would, my fingers would get super sore. And that's with 5s and 4s. So I'm not sure I could do socks. But I kind of want to try it just to see if I can do it. But these are Hiya Hiyas. I picked these up at, I think I got these, there was a store my daughter took me to in Dallas when I was there for Thanksgiving. I think it's called Holly's Yarn Shop or Molly's Yarn Shop or something like that. I'll maybe do a Google and put it here-ish. But it was a cute little store, and they were very nice. One of my favorite things about Hiya Hiya is there's a pattern in their needles always, and then they always have some kind of like little freebie, and it's usually these, the coilless safety pins, which are my favorite stitch marker ever. Love them. I have like gobs of these. I buy them anytime I see them. And so yeah, Hiya Hiyas, these are, yeah, the 9-inch, and this size was a US 5. So I kind of want to get some sock ones to see if my hands can handle it, but I'm almost afraid to get some just because I'm afraid my hands won't be able to handle it. But if my hands can't handle it, I'll just send them out with minis or something next time I do a swap. So besides that, I had an epiphany the other day as far as swaps go. I get the Ipsy box. As you can tell, I'm a mega makeup user. I don't know why I get Ipsy, because it's $10 a month. That's why I get Ipsy. And they send me stuff every now and then, and I love makeup. I just don't like wearing it every day, but I sure love it. So the cool thing about Ipsy is they send everything in these cute little bags. So I got this one, I got this one. This one's fun, little envelope. And then this one came the last time, and it's like envelope. So these make great notion holders, and I've sent one with a mini swap I did. So I think I'm going to start using these to put minis in when I do mini swaps. They're just fun little bags for notions. So yeah, that's a cool thing with Ipsy. I should wear makeup more because I have too much of it. I think that's all, like all knitting stuff I have. Anything else? I don't have any new yarn. I'm still waiting on some. I don't have anything else. That's pretty much it. Okay, so let's talk about some doll stuff. There's the rest of my girls. Well, most of the rest of my girls. Let me see. Yeah, the rest of my Blythes are up there except for one that my daughter made me. I'll have to show. She's completely different. She doesn't really look like a Blythe anymore. Sarah made her a soft body, and she's sitting over here. Hold on. She's okay. So here she is. So my daughter replaced her body completely with this soft, stuffy body, and it's a little wolfy. She did the entire thing, so did all. She painted her face, and gave her to me for Mother's Day 3 or 4 years ago. So I love her. She's got, let's see if her eyes will work. Yeah. Doesn't quite work as well as other dolls. Whoa, that's kind of scary looking. So, yeah, that's the only other girl. So, on the far end is Itchy, which y'all have met, Isabella, Hypo, Detour, and Matilda. I still have Homer, of course, and Otis and Basil are sitting over there because that's the angle I usually podcast. I'm facing away, facing towards the way I'm usually like flip-flopped. Anyway, and here's Homer. She's all dressed up because she thinks she's going to get to go out with me tonight for my birthday, but she's not. She'll have to stay home. She's wearing a Eurotrash helmet. This is like, I knew I was really a Blythe person when I got my first Eurotrash helmet. So, Ruth makes these. And Ruth is just amazing. Ruth Carlson. She knits these little helmets and then she felts them and then she embroiders them, and she has a beautiful collection of beads and buttons and sequins. And this is one I got in a shop update. She every now and then sells, but she had a commission list for years. And I was on her commission list for ages and ages. And I got this one. So this one I picked the colors and everything. And I told her I wanted black, red, and white. And I told her, think Death Star. Think Star Wars. So it's not themed to Star Wars. I just wanted her to get those colors. So it's, you know, it's got this beautiful star. And then, you know, just the black thread. I love that she put these, you know, steampunk sprockets on there. And yeah, so that's one of her helmets. And these are both called kitty ear. So they have the little ears at the top. And then I have one that's a, I think they're called tonk. But it has a point on the top. So I got this one in a shop update. I have one more, but it's in another room. So I'm like, oh, I'm a real Blythe person. So this one is pinks, sweet colors, and then that beautiful, and I believe that's wood. Yeah, it's a wooden butterfly. She has a real eye for embroidery and placing beads in such a sweet, sweet way. Like, look at this one on the side. All of that stitching up, and then the flower here and the heart. So, really sweet stuff. And all of my girls are pretty much tomboyish in their clothes and their dress. And so sometimes I think they're way overdressed. That this stuff is too fancy, but I love it anyway, so we have it. And I did, I showed y'all Chippy, my little yarn head. When I bought her, or when I got her from JJ, she was so tiny, and their clothes are so tiny. And their shoes, those teeny tiny little feet. Look, here's the Knit Picks ruler. Look how little bitty that is. So, I didn't have any of this stuff. So she was naked, like no shoes. She had this little dress that I crocheted for her, or I knit for her, I knit for her, and that was it. So I jumped on eBay one day and started looking for petites and little pet shop, because I knew they would be cheaper, and because they don't make them anymore, and wanted to find clothes and shoes. But I couldn't find just clothes. There were a lot of lots with the dolls and the clothes. So I bought them. They got here. I stole all their clothes and all their shoes and contacted JJ, who made Chippy, and asked him if he wanted the dolls because they were just laying around. No need for me to have them. And he was like, yeah, I'd love to have them if you're sure you want to give them to me. And I was like, heck yeah. So I sent them to him, and it was back last October or so. And he has been really busy with working on dolls, and he contacted me a while back and was like, I want to make you one for sending me all those dolls. So here's my new girl, look. And she arrived today. Perfect timing for my birthday. And she got here so fast. The last time I got one from him, because he lives in Mexico City, took forever. Took forever. This one, the last one took, I think, close to 8 weeks, close to 2 months. He just mailed her this month, and she's already here. So she got here the day after my birthday. I'm so excited. But he loved her because I told him I wanted gray with, neon speckles. So he did this, and he's like, look, she looks so much like an 80s girl. So I think I'm going to call her Cindy, after Cyndi Lauper. But I love her. And I think I'm going to take her to dinner tonight. My mom's taking me to a fancy restaurant tonight for my birthday. So I'm pretty excited. I probably should hurry up and finish with this podcast, so I can put some makeup on from those Ipsy bags. And so yeah, that's like one of my birthday presents. That's I don't think I got a whole lot of doll stuff even to show y'all, except for her. Oh, I have, other than Blythe dolls, I've shown y'all the little person's 24. This is a ball joint doll made by Nefer Kane. And this little girl is a balloon. Nefer's got a great eye. She does these beautiful casts. And she's wearing this dress, is a dress on a Blythe. It would be on a Blythe. So she's much bigger than Blythe. Much taller. See? And so that's one of Shershey's dresses. And I love it. And that's the doorbell. Sorry about that. Someone came to the door. And the mail's already delivered today, so I wasn't near as excited as I usually am at the doorbell. It was the neighbor. He got a piece of our mail, so he's bringing it over. But it looked like a bill, so it's not that exciting. So, what was I talking about? I was talking about the size of the dolls. And this dress is a Shershey dress. So, that little silver dress that Itchy's wearing. This is the one, and this is the ones I was telling you about, that she does these perfect, I mean, look at that pom-pom. Look how perfect that pom-pom is. Perfect. So, this is my balloon. And I have another one of her dolls coming. It probably will be here the next couple of days. But she lives in France, Nefer does. And apparently their postal service, post workers, have been on strike. And it's not like a complete shutdown. They strike like they don't go to work at all, Monday through Wednesday or something. And, but then they go in. So they're not shutting the country down completely, but she's trying to ship out all these dolls she's made. And the post office is not running like 3 days out of the week or 4 days out of the week. So it's been very frustrating for her. But yeah, so it's another one of my crazy dolls. So crazy doll lady, crazy knitting doll lady, crazy lady. Not much else about my birthday going on. Well, I'm going to dinner tonight with my mom. We didn't do anything last night because my husband's a teacher, and his secretary at his school is retiring at the end of the school year, which he has next week to go through to finish out. And her dinner, retirement dinner, was last night. And he was really not going to go. He wasn't going to go at first because he was like, well, it's on your birthday. And I was like, no, you should go. And then I think maybe some of the teachers found out that it was my birthday as well. Or I don't know. But he was able to snag me a ticket yesterday afternoon. So he called me or let me know. And so I ended up going to that last night. So we did have dinner on my birthday. but I'm going with my parents tonight, and it's apparently a fairly fancy place here in Midland, so I'm gonna have to like not wear jeans and a Star Wars t-shirt, which is my uniform, my everyday norm. And so birthday stuff aplenty. My husband and I have been planning our vacation, and we're going to go to Boston, and I am so excited. We're going to go to Boston, Salem, all over that area. I told him I had, you know, my list of things I have to do in that area are very small. Yarn shops, cool places to take pictures with Homer, and I want to ride a train, because their trains are not, Texas is so big and spread out that it's, and I don't think it's really, trains are a big thing in the South anyway, but I want to get on a train and go somewhere. And I may hate it once I'm on it, but I don't think I will. I'm like, I want to ride a train. So I think we are going to go down to Providence, Rhode Island or something, or swear that. But there's a lot of things. There's a lot of great places between in that area. So if you're from Boston area and you know some great yarn shops, let me know. I really stoked about this trip. Can't wait. The last time we went on a big trip was we went to Seattle, and we drove from Texas to Seattle. And we didn't just go like straight up. No. We took the long way. We drove, the first day was a long drive, and people from Texas, it doesn't matter, we don't judge the distance in miles, it's in hours. So to us, 2 hours away, like Lubbock is 2 hours north of here, Dallas is 5 hours east of here, El Paso is 5 hours west of here. Texas is huge, so the drives are, yeah, in hours. And a day trip for me is driving 3 hours away and I'm still in the state and hanging out, and sometimes turning around and coming home. And I've done that all the way to Dallas, which is 5.5 hours. Stayed, done that in the morning, and then driven home that night. Don't recommend it. It's not the smartest thing to do. But so the first day we went to Seattle, when we were going to Seattle, the first leg of that trip was west. So we headed west out of Texas into New Mexico, Arizona, and we crossed into just inside the border of California. We stayed in Blythe, California. My husband did that just for me. And that was 12 to 14 hours. That's the longest we drove at all, that trip. But then we drove the next day. We got up and went to San Francisco. Stayed a couple of days in San Francisco. And we took the long way because we wanted to go up Highway 1. Yeah, we're not going to be driving to Boston. We are flying. We are super excited about this. We're going to go to a game. So we're going to see, I think it's the Twins playing in Boston. So we're going to go to Fenway. Pretty stoked about that. I want to go on witch tours in Salem. I want to see cool yarn shops. Might have to go to Cheers in Boston. A lot of my friends are like, oh, you have to do that. But I'm sure we'll find a billion things to do. I want to absorb the history and listen to the people in Boston talk. So excited about it. So yeah, that's a big thing happening this summer. So if you know those yarn shops in those areas, hook a sister up. Guys, I read some this last week. So I read the first little bit, chapter or so. Good book. Highly recommend. Just kids. And I think that's it. That's going to be it for today. Shortish podcast with, actually, I should say, short and knitting content podcast. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see y'all next week. Have a good one.